What's going on, everybody? This is Maximilian. I'm not starting this episode at a Pokemon Center. I know I'm kind of breaking tradition, but someone pointed out to me that Fly HM is actually right on Sandwood Island, which of course I would forget. So props to you, subscriber, whoever you were, viewer, for pointing that out. You are awesome. So if you haven't gotten that yet, and if you've beaten Chuck, go ahead and talk to the woman who's kind of birding around outside the gym. I think she's Chuck's wife. I'm not entirely sure. Whatever. She just has an HM to give to you, and that's really all that matters. So go ahead and pick that up and teach a Pokemon Fly. And hopefully you won't run into the same problem I did, where I had no Pokemon to teach Fly, which was pretty awkward to say the least. So I had to surf all the way back to Olivine City across the water, and I cut that out for you guys, because I'm pretty sure you didn't want to see it. But it actually just occurred to me really suddenly that I didn't have any flying Pokemon in my box. I could have sworn I would have had at least a Pidgey or something from when I duplicated all the starters, but apparently I got rid of all of them. Oops. So, at the end of this episode, I ended up going to, I think it's technically the region of the Ruins of Alph to get a Natu. Because, well, technically Natu can't learn Fly, but I was surprised to find how high level they were when you go into that area. So, if you go and catch yourself a Natu, they evolve into Xatu at level 25, and really they range around mid-20s or like low 20s, and they really don't take that much to evolve. Plus, by this time, you've probably found at least a rare candy. So if you want, you can always take the short way in life and box glitch. I think I ended up just doing that because I got one at level 24, and it only needed one rare candy, so I figured, what the heck, I might as well just throw it on there. And it'll get yourself an easy Xatu, and Xatu can learn Fly, which is awesome. But on top of that, Xatu is a beast in and of himself, because he's a psychic type in addition to a flying type, which is freaking sweet. It's a very excellent combo. And it does already start with a very nice variety of moves. It has Peck, which is basically your default flying type, but the fact that it typecasts as flying is very important. That means that you're good against both bug and grass types, and fighting types. And it also knows Nightshade, which is good against ghost types, dark types, and psychic types. So this guy's already got a really nice start. And he already knows Teleport, which is kind of cool. I mean, so you can go back to a Pokemon Center if you're, like, stuck in a cave or something. But by the time he learns Fly, it's basically irrelevant. And he's going to learn much better moves like Psychic along the way once you raise him. Or her, depending if you get a female one, I suppose. So, all in all, it's a very good investment. I think somebody voted for him in the Elite Four poll. I've seen a couple people vote for Xatu already. And I remember playing this game a while back and just kind of trying out Xatu because one of the Elite Four people has one, and like, oh, that kind of looks interesting. I think I might as well give it a shot. And I gotta tell you, it's a lot of fun. It is surprisingly powerful. I mean, you wouldn't really think about it, but I mean, it's special stats, nothing to scoff at. It's a really good Pokemon. So if you don't have one and you need something that flies, go ahead and give it a shot. It really doesn't take much to raise Natu, and then once it evolves into Xatu, it is the bomb. Now, if you're not like me wandering around right here, you'll probably be much farther in the game. However, I've been kind of goofing around. Well, I guess technically off camera, I want to say that because I won't be putting all the footage into the game, but I've been like recording the entire time, you know, just in case something really interesting pops up. I should mention, after I've recorded this, I figured, well, you know, I'm kind of behind schedule a little bit. I'll go ahead and start recording the next one. So as soon as I dumped off the recording into my recording bin, I started recording another one. And by some random chance, I ran into Raikou. Yep, spoiler alert, I ran into Raikou. And of course, I didn't get it, because I wasn't prepared for it, I wasn't really thinking about it, and I didn't even know I could encounter it where I was. It was just kind of a really out-of-the-blue thing. And it basically just happened. Had no idea. So I basically spent like the next hour or so just actively trying to stalk it down and find it. I got it to sleep, and I almost caught it. It was so freaking close. I wanted to punch something because it's just like so disappointing to get it like to the absolute brink of catching it, but it's just like, haha, psych, and just spits it out of the ball. Like, it really sucked. But kind of the interesting thing is, though, I did do some damage to it because I think I laid down a curse on it with Haunter, so I took out a quarter of its HP, at least before it ran away and woke up. Or rather, woke up and ran away, because that thing doesn't sleepwalk very fast. But the legendary beasts, I guess they're called, Entei, Suicune, and Raikou, if you damage them in battle while they are running, they don't recover when you encounter them the next time. So since I took out a quarter of his HP that first time that I met him, I'm going to go at him with 3/4 of his HP the next time. So it'll be a little bit easier for me to catch him, because even if I only get one attack at him while he's asleep, I'll still be able to damage him even more. Which is great, because they are stupendously hard to catch anyway, and you need to do all the damage you can to them. Apparently, False Swipe is a really good move to doing that, because if I recall correctly, False Swipe, I think it takes any Pokemon that you hit with it down to 1 HP. I could be wrong on that. All I know is that it was really, really good whenever I used Caesar. This is way, way back in the day. And also another interesting move to use with that is Mean Look. Now, I forgot my Mean Look that I had on my Ghastly, who's now a Haunter, because at the time I'm just thinking, well, this is completely useless. When am I ever going to worry about them switching out Pokemon? Well, little did I know that you could also use this on one of the legendary beasts to keep them from fleeing. Now, if you put a Quick Claw on your Haunter, you automatically get the first attack in battle, regardless of what your speed is. This doesn't work if you're switching into a Pokemon mid-battle. As long as it's the very first attack of the encounter, you will always get it first. So if you throw a Mean Look at them and it's successful, they won't be able to flee, which makes it much, much easier. Because honestly, the hardest part of getting them is the fact that they run away as soon as they get the chance. So I'm going to probably just go ahead and catch another Ghastly at that Bellsprout Tower, because they know Mean Look by default, which makes this a lot more easy. And I really don't care if it kills one of my Pokemon, especially if it's a Ghastly, because I'll have 5 more in my party. But the hardest thing is going to be tracking them down. Now, at least from what I have observed and what I've read as well, it seems that every time you fly to a city or enter a city from a route, their location on the Pokedex changes. However, if you're moving from route to route and you're not flying or teleporting, then their location doesn't change. So it's basically a matter of landing yourself in a right spot and getting somewhat lucky, because really there's basically all luck involved. There's almost no skill to doing this. I'm not sure if there's any pattern of sorts to how they spread out in the map, because it just appears to be completely random. I don't think it has anything to do with where you currently are. Kind of like maybe if it were like a strategy game where you kind of have to move them into a corner, so to speak. It just appears to be completely random. So it's all a matter of getting lucky with your initial city. Although hopping back between Goldenrod and Ecruteak is really good, because there's a huge junction in between them, which gives you a lot of opportunity to hit a route. Since several of the routes that go to the major cities meet right in between Goldenrod and Ecruteak, as well as Violet and Goldenrod for that matter. Actually, Violet may be better than Goldenrod, because you have access to a few more routes if you're going that way. You will have the best chance of encountering it. And you can actually fly to the same city. So like if I were, for whatever reason, in Ecruteak, and I flew to Ecruteak, which technically doesn't get me anywhere, it would still make the location of the legendary beast Pokemon change. Now, I don't know where Entei and Suicune are yet. I haven't run into them. And at least I remember when I was playing this game, it took me a very, very long time to find a second one after I'd found the first one. I can't remember if I ever caught any, but I want to say that I didn't. I don't think I was ever successful in managing to catch one. I was just very unfortunate back at the time, but I've never been able to find all 3. So if any of you guys have any tips for me for finding the other 3 Pokemon, let me know, because that would be much appreciated. I would love to get all 3 of these in time for at least by the end of the game, and if not for the catch 'em all. Because, I mean, they're the freaking legendary beasts. These guys are really good, both stat-wise and in the fact that they're legendary, so therefore I must have them. You see where I'm going with this, right? So I would love to get them, and if you guys have any special advice for me or any tips or tricks that helped you along the way, I would be glad to know them, because I'm trying to do as much research as I can on this, and I would really, really like to make this easier, because it's been difficult for me so far trying to get these guys. And I don't know, we may have to wait until we get the Master Ball. Unfortunately, that will not come until after we get all the 8 badges from the Johto region. Well, which technically isn't too far away. I mean, we have a couple of events that we have to take care of, but 3 gyms is kind of a long way considering these are the 3 hardest gyms in the region. And you also notice that we're a bit behind par, because I also completely forgot that there's this region to the right of Ecruteak called the Lake of Rage, north of Mahogany Town, and I didn't really consider it. But you don't have to really be at a high level to go there. You're actually technically supposed to go there sometime after Ekritik, but before Cyanwood. Yeah, that didn't work out so well. So I kind of checked up there when I was recording the next gameplay, and I started realizing, man, all the Pokemon levels here are really low. And then it kind of dawned on me, I was supposed to be here a long time ago. Why did I not even think of that? So we're going to be going to the Lake of Rage next episode. Woohoo! Anywho, here's where you get the Natus. You have to go through a secret entrance in Union Cave to get to this grass patch, as it's the only one in the Ruins of Alph. You have to surf where you normally couldn't before. I think it's in either in the second level or the median room. I think it's just the second room because there's only 2 in the Union Cave, if I remember correctly. And if you surf up that middle strip in between the 2 giant, I guess plateaus, whatever you want to call them, keep walking forward. You may have to fight a few hikers. Their Pokemon will be somewhere in the mid-20s, no big deal. You'll get to the patch of grass. The majority of the Pokemon there will be Natus, but you can find Smeargles if you're lucky. So, that is another episode of Pokemon Silver. Stay tuned when we go to get a Gyarados.